Welcome to the Samurai Channel. We are all students who have been active for the past 3 years through social networking, street speeches, and signature campaigns. The channel is made up of teenagers and is made up of culturally diverse high school students, including Japanese, half European, and those who have studied abroad. The corruption of politicians in Japan today is glaringly obvious. The adults need to wake up and express their opinions clearly. But even if they realize, more than 70 years of misguided history may prevent decisive action. It is we, the youth, who are in this predicament. That is why we must learn together, speak out and take action, remember who is telling lies, remember why is false history being taught, remember who are the traitors. Remember understand what individuals and nations have done to our country. Let us know if there are any mistakes. We are ordinary high school students, but our leaders have been aware of Japan's shadow since junior high school and have taken action. Mission: Let's protect Japan, let's be proud of Japan. Support us. Arigatou gozaimasu. Here are the topics we chose this week. Number 1. Learn from the UK. Japan is flooded with hereditary politicians, inheritance tax system since the Russo-Japanese War. In March 2026, the British Parliament passed a bill to completely abolish the remaining 92 hereditary seats in the House of Lords. This marks the end of a centuries-old tradition of seats by birthright. While the 1999 reforms removed the majority, this final step eliminates the practice entirely. The UK government emphasized that the system was outdated and undemocratic, shifting toward a merit-based selection. In Japan, this move has reignited the debate over hereditary politics. Prominent figures like the Koizumi, Kono, and Fukuda families exemplify this trend. Furthermore, political funds can be passed down without being subject to inheritance or gift taxes, allowing for de facto hereditary succession. Just as the victory in the Russo-Japanese War, 1904 to 1905, gave Japan the confidence to push for modernization, there is now a growing demand to prioritize ability over bloodline, with many arguing that hereditary politicians are no longer necessary for the nation's future. Number 2. Do we really need the PKK Nuruz festival? On March 22, tensions escalated during Nuruz, a Kurdish New Year festival held at Akagase Park in Saitama City. Gandhi Sawada, a secretary to a Saitama Prefectural Assembly member, has come under heavy fire after posting a video accusing attorney Gen Kamahara, registration number 27783, a well-known anti-discrimination activist, of being a fake lawyer. Sawada cited the fact that Kamahara was not wearing his attorney's badge, but there is no legal obligation to display a badge on site. Consequently, many have pointed out that Sawada's actions likely constitute defamation. Meanwhile, at the same venue, a violent incident occurred in which Toda City Councillor Yusukar Kawai was punched in the face by a Kurdish participant and rushed to the hospital by ambulance. Kawai has long criticized the Nuruz festival, labeling it a PKK-linked terrorist festival. Why do these people go to such lengths to travel to Japan in the first place? In fact, it is reported that Zainichi Koreans, including individuals like Shin Sugoke, have been deliberately bringing them to Japan for over a decade. In other words, isn't the very existence of such supporters within Japan inherently suspicious? Number 3. Proposal passed to amend legal basis for foreigners' welfare benefits. On March 11, 2026, the Toda City Council in Saitama Prefecture passed a groundbreaking proposal titled Opinion Paper calling for the clarification of legal grounds for the foreigner welfare system and the introduction of reciprocity. The motion passed with a narrow 12-11 vote. The proposal argues that the legal foundation for providing welfare to foreigners remains ambiguous and calls for greater fairness in the tax burden. Led by conservative council members, this decision is drawing national attention as the first of its kind. It is expected to have a ripple effect on other municipalities, potentially sparking a nationwide debate over the necessity of reviewing welfare payments to foreign nationals. Number 4. White baby goat missing from Kiryu Farm, another foreign crime. On the early morning of March 12, 2026, a 1-month-old white baby goat, the younger of twins, suddenly went missing from the Mumu Paradise farm in Kiryu City, Gunma Prefecture. The farm owner suggests it could be either lost or taken. Recently, there has been an unprecedented surge in crimes targeting things like railway copper wires, water pipes, and outdoor AC units. While perhaps not all, over 90% of these incidents involve foreign nationals. Foreigners who steal baby goats and Japan's essential infrastructure cause trouble for other foreign residents as well. Please, stop this. Number 5. President Lai Ching-te, life under Japanese rule was better than the KMT era. On March 14, 2026, Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te stated at a symposium that the treatment of Taiwanese people during the Japanese era, 1895 to 1945, was superior to that of the subsequent Kuomintang, KMT era. Referencing the 228 incident and the White Terror, he criticized the KMT for being worse than colonial Japan. While the KMT reacted fiercely, many in Taiwan continue to value the modernization legacy of Japanese rule, and the statement stands as a symbol of the deep and enduring Japan-Taiwan relationship. Number 6. Protest boat capsizes off Hinoko, female high school student and boat captain die. Top backers, Communist Party. On March 16, 2026, off Hinoko in Okinawa, the protest boats Haiwamaru and Fukutsu, operated by the Hinoko Heliport Opposition Council, capsized. Of the 21 people on board, 18 second-year students from Dashusha International High School and 3 crew members, a 17-year-old female student and the 71-year-old boat captain, a pastor, died, and 14 others were injured. The vessel set sail under a wave warning advisory amid choppy white-capped seas and overturned after being hit by sudden beam waves. These boats had long served as the operational base for anti-base activities, regularly boarded for inspections by Communist Party figures, Secretary General Koike Akira, former lower house member Akamine Saiken, and former chairman Shii Kazuo, as well as Social Democratic Party leader Fukushima Mizuho. Critics are condemning left-wing parties and activists for supplying unregistered and uninsured dangerous vessels, routinely used in their own operations, to high school peace studies programs, calling it an ideology-first, safety-ignoring biased action. The Japan Coast Guard has carried out home searches on suspicion of professional negligence resulting in death and injury. Dashusha International High School also bears heavy responsibility. Principal Nishida Kikuo admitted at a press conference that the school neglected to confirm registration with the Transport Bureau or insurance coverage and left the accompanying teacher on shore instead of having them board, acknowledging a clear failure to fulfill the duty of care for student safety. Approving departure under a wave warning and neglecting on-site supervision was extremely inappropriate. Online, criticism is pouring in, dangerous ties with left-wing groups, and political maneuvering disguised as learning. Personal connections between the school and Captain Kanai have also been pointed out, underscoring the heavy responsibility of prioritizing ideology over lives. This accident has exposed the reality that radical left-wing peace movements are putting young people's lives at risk. True peace education must put safety and neutrality first. Number 7. Saitama Prefectural Police and media focus only on discriminating against Japanese. In Saitama Prefecture, debate over the settlement policy for foreigners, especially Kurds, is intensifying. While a prefectural assembly member proposed strict examinations and conditions for foreign permanent residency on March 22, 2026, at the Kurdish New Year Festival, Nowruz, held at Akagase Park in Saitama City, Toda City Councilor Yusuke Kawai was assaulted and rushed to the hospital by ambulance. The perpetrator has not been identified, and police are still investigating. Meanwhile, media coverage has been criticized for a clear bias that portrays the victim as a xenophobe. In addition, Saitama Governor Motohiro Ono reported 36.39 million yen in income for 2024, salary income topping the nation for the 5th consecutive year. This high income combined with his aggressive promotion of foreign settlement policies is fueling growing dissatisfaction among prefectural residents. Number 8. Scholarship disparity for Japanese students keeps growing. The Japan Student Services Organization, JASO, scholarship system was revised starting April 2024, making foreign students holding family stay residency status, mainly children of foreign workers, eligible for grant-type scholarships and tuition reductions under certain conditions. Eligibility requires graduation from Japanese elementary, junior high, or high school, or first entry into Japan by the 12th grade, and a stated intention to work and settle in Japan after university graduation. Multi-child households also receive a special exemption with no income cap. The number of beneficiaries is expected to reach several hundred per year. Meanwhile, Japanese students are facing soaring prices and rising tuition costs and are increasingly dependent on scholarships, yet grant type aid has strict household income criteria, so most can only access loan type aid. At a time when Japan's birth rate is declining, expanding tax-funded, non-repayable support for children of foreign workers while many Japanese students struggle under repayment burdens is drawing strong criticism as discrimination against Japanese. This is seen as part of the broader policy of expanding foreign labor intake, which ultimately increases the burden on Japanese taxpayers. In today's Japan, an era when one person can barely make ends meet, the visible prioritization of foreigners is causing widespread public frustration. Although the system is presented as equal opportunity for foreigners raised in Japan, many view it as reverse discrimination that relatively narrows opportunities for Japanese students. Number 9. Minato Ward abolishes subsidy for Korean school parents starting this year. The Tokyo Ward of Minato has decided to eliminate the subsidy for parents of children attending Korean schools beginning in fiscal 2026. The program, launched in 1982 to help ease educational expenses, has come under review due to questions of institutional consistency, fairness with other schools, and proper use of taxpayer funds. The Minato Ward Board of Education clearly announced the abolition policy in past public comment periods and ward assembly responses, making this an exceptional decision among Tokyo's 23 wards. Korean schools are not classified as Article 1 schools under the School Education Act but as miscellaneous schools, Article 134, therefore, local governments have no legal obligation to provide financial support. The decision also took fairness with other foreign schools into consideration. Thank you to the Minato Ward Assembly members. Number 10. United Church of Christ in Japan. Why the huge uproar over the Unification Church while nothing is ever said about Saka Gakkai or the United Church of Christ in Japan? The United Church of Christ in Japan, Japan's largest Protestant denomination, has maintained a consistent post-war stance of opposing the emperor system and is criticized in some quarters for promoting an anti-Japanese doctrine. It has repeatedly issued statements opposing issues related to Yasukuni Shrine as well as the Daijosai and enthronement ceremonies, and it advocates anti-war and anti-base positions on defense and military base issues. This position stems from reflection on its pre-war cooperation with the war effort, the influence of the GHQ occupation period, ties to the Japan Teachers Union, Nikkyoso, and a left-wing tradition of criticizing Japanese traditions. The denomination views the emperor as a symbol of state Shinto and criticizes from the standpoint of separation of church and state and pacifism. However, this stance is often perceived as a denial of Japanese culture and tradition. At the same time, there is diversity of opinion within the denomination, and not all members share a single viewpoint. Conservatives continue to strongly label it anti-Japanese and left-wing, sparking ongoing debate about the social role of the Christian community in Japan. Note that Diet member Ashiba belongs to this denomination.
This week's Kensha Police is Beyond Media Malice, Prime Minister Takaichi's supreme diplomacy in the Alaska oil victory. Japan's media freedom is in a state of crisis. 20 years ago, Japan ranked 11th in the World Press Freedom Index. Today, it has plummeted to below 70th, nearing the dismal levels of China. This is the reality of our current media landscape. At the recent US-Japan summit, Prime Minister Takaichi reached a masterful agreement with President Trump. The news that Japan will secure Alaskan oil as a substitute for its heavy dependence on Middle Eastern crude is monumental. Yet, the major media outlets have turned a blind eye. Alaska produces over 400,000 barrels per day, and while much is currently for domestic U.S. consumption, there is significant potential for increased production. Has any other politician or commentator ever proposed such a brilliant strategic move? Instead of reporting on this, Japanese media outlets are flooded with articles that seems to do nothing but parrot the interest of China. It is sickening to see the constant stream of misinformation from the likes of Weekly, Shincho, Yomiuri, Asahi, Mainichi, NHK, TBS, ABC, AERA, Josei Jishin, and President Magazine. A prime example of this professional failure is TV Asahi's Morio Chijiwa, the former ANN China Bureau Chief. During a press conference, he asked President Trump, Why didn't you notify your allies in advance of the attack on Iran? Later, on his own program, Chijiwa attempted to justify himself, claiming he was voicing the frustration of the Japanese people, and asserting that Trump only brought up Pearl Harbor to mock me. He exposed his own weakness. His complete lack of situational awareness is staggering. It is pathetic that someone of this caliber is considered a veteran journalist. The media should be highlighting Prime Minister Takaichi's plan to secure Alaskan oil, a project where Japanese technology will be a vital asset. Is the media suppressed because this is bad news for China? It's time for the Japanese media to be silent. Stop the biased reporting, stop the deception.
This week's This is the Textbook. This week's This is the Textbook segment will feature an excerpt starting from page 22 of Masanori Mizuma's The Nanking Incident. P23. Show this photograph in silence to Americans who justify the use of the atomic bomb. Hiroshima, shortly after 11 a.m. on August 6, Showa 20, 1945. The building is the Hiroshima City Sendamachi 3 police substation. The photographer recalled. I took this picture from up close, but the viewfinder of my camera was clouded with tears. The girl in the white sailor uniform, with a triangular collar, in the foreground was confirmed to have survived 28 years later. Photographed by Yoshido Matsushige. Explanation. This photograph was taken only about 3 hours after the atomic bomb was dropped, and embers were still flying through the air. Only 5 photographs by Bijin Matsushige and 1 by Mitsuo Matsushige remain as precious records from August 6, Showa 20, 1945. These photographs present an issue far beyond the debate over the justification of the atomic bombing. Let's take action this week. Please stop using the imperial family for business purposes. In the WBC, something very disappointing happened at the 2026 World Baseball Classic, WBC. This tournament has been exclusively streamed in Japan by Netflix for all 47 games, meaning it is no longer possible to watch them for free on terrestrial television as in the past. The particular problem is the Japan vs Australia game on March 8th. This match became a royal viewing game attended by His Majesty the Emperor. A high-prestige event in which the Emperor personally watches the game has ended up being used for Netflix's paid streaming business. Many citizens who do not have a Netflix subscription cannot watch the game in real time. The imperial family is the symbol of the entire Japanese nation. It is absolutely unacceptable to exploit the dignity and prestige of the imperial family to promote or generate revenue for a specific paid platform. Turning a major international sporting event that belongs to the whole nation into a paid, business-first venture, and even involving the imperial family, feels deeply inappropriate. In the future, such acts of using the imperial family for commercial purposes must stop immediately. We will raise our voices of complaint and request to Netflix NPB Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications Imperial Household Agency. Please join us in raising your voice as well. We ask for your support.
すわすわで森の外、うさぎまちまち木の根っこ、まちぼうけまちぼうけ、元は涼しいきび畑、